Welcome, tea friends. This is Barb Gully from Barbs Tea Service, and we are back at On TV Studios for our podcast. I'm here in the studio with
Yes, who?
studio engineer,
Yes.
co-host, and arm candy.
And the shirt to prove it.
And the shirt to prove it,
All right.
Chris.
Yes.
Ciao, Chris.
Ciao. Bad it up.
So I have learned
Yes.
in my lifetime that ciao doesn't just mean goodbye. It means hello as well.
Yes.
So
It's a confusing word.
ciao. So we're going to...
It's like hell bye. Hello and bye.
Oh. Okay. I don't know if that's going to catch on.
No, it won't.
All right.
And it shouldn't.
So I'm glad you talked about that arm candy
Yes.
shirt
Yes.
because we're going to have a special guest soon
Yes.
related to
Uh-oh.
that certain monogram.
Wow. Mysterious. Okay.
Yeah, okay. But we are here for podcast 22.
We're still here.
We're still here. And I might say, Vente Due.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
That's
Sure.
Italian.
And it means something. What is
Means 22.
it? All right. Okay, good. All right.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about Italy today.
Uh-huh.
Sort
Right.
of subtle.
Yeah. Okay, we
hints
get
there.
it. We get it.
And you might think, hey, maybe they'd have a Halloween-themed podcast.
Yes.
Since this is Halloween week.
Uh-huh.
We're November 1st right
Yes.
now.
Right.
But we're going to save that.
Yes.
Because we have a special Halloween brew
Yes.
that we thought we'd reserve for our next
Yeah.
special guest.
Yes.
Because it contains ginger.
Uh-huh.
And our special guest, Rob,
Yes.
likes ginger.
Yeah.
Seems like all our special guests seem to favor ginger tea.
Well, sure. Why not?
Why not? But it's not a requisite to being a special guest.
No.
Just kind of a coincidence,
Yeah.
a happy coincidence.
Yeah, very happy.
So, okay, we're going to talk about that in the future. But
Right.
today we're going to talk a little bit about Italy.
Yes.
And this was inspired by a recent gift to us
Yes.
from some tea that was brought back from Rome
Mm-hmm.
from our friends, and we'll
Yep.
get to that in a minute. But we were in Italy in 2017.
Yes. It seems like yesterday.
It really does, because there's that
Yeah.
weird gap there. But we went to Rome,
Mhm.
we went to Florence,
Right. Well,
and,
Firenze.
Firenze,
Yeah.
and Venice.
Yes.
But we were going to talk about the two different tea rooms, one in Rome and one in Venice.
Right. It's a lot to cover.
It's a lot to cover. So Venice almost needs its own.
It does. I agree.
It's so
Yeah.
magical, such
Yes.
a wonderful place. So
Yeah.
we're going to save that for another Venice, Italy-themed
Right.
podcast. But today we're going to.
You can't go wrong.
You can't. You
Right.
really can't. So
Right.
we're going to cross the ocean. We're
Mhm.
going to say ciao
Mhm.
to pasta,
Yes.
art, and a Roman holiday.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
And if we have time, I'd also like to talk about a recent article in Consumers Report.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Their latest edition.
Yeah.
It features a section on tea as
Yeah.
well as a little bit of a reference to a BTS tea friend.
Yes.
Okay, so
It's exciting.
yes. And then again, if we have a little bit more time, we'll talk about a ladies' tea we had last weekend
Yes.
and some exciting new things that are coming to the podcast.
I can't wait.
You'll have to.
Okay. All right.
But first, tea.
Or in Italian, please.
Il ma prima il tè.
Sure. Close enough.
Yes.
All right. Very good.
Okay, so
We got past that.
and I tried. I actually had worked on that. You probably could tell.
Wow.
Okay, so today we're having Earl Grey Imperial from Babington's in Rome.
Yes.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and if we want to take a look at the tea tin.
Okay. We are going to check this out. Okay. It's
So,
up.
Isn't
Yep.
that pretty?
Yeah, it is. Yes.
So that's from Babington's.
From Rome.
From Rome.
Yes.
Yes. And then if you want to
Mhm.
segue back,
All
I'm
right.
going to show I have a matching tea tea
Coffee
mug
Yes.
that I got from Babington. So
Yes. A treasured heirloom that we're going to pass along to our children.
because they want all our
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
So let's take a little taste of this tea.
All right, we will. Oh, it's very crisp for a black tea, I would say, and it's got something floral in it. Help me out.
Oh, okay. It does.
Yeah.
It does. It's because it's the traditional Earl Grey
Right.
with the bergamot oil
Right.
and the black tea.
Right.
But it has. You're picking up florals. It has cornflower.
Oh, okay.
And safflower.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right. Yeah.
But that's again, this isn't overwhelming.
No. It kind of rests on the palate, and this would be. I mean, that'd be a great afternoon tea with the savory sandwiches. I think that'd be a great accompaniment.
I think you're right.
Yes.
And I like that you said it's crisp because
Yep.
it really does. It kind of
Yep. Slight bite.
slight bite.
Yep.
Okay. So there was instructions on the tea tin.
Right.
Brew 3 to 4 minutes.
Right.
Not quite to a full boil.
Uh-huh.
About 203 or so.
Right.
They give it in Celsius, so we had to
Yeah, convert.
convert.
Yeah.
And this was kind of cool too. It also has in ink. They
Yep.
they penned it in an expiration date.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah.
And?
December 26th.
Oh, wow, okay. All right.
Yes.
We got time.
We got time.
Right.
It won't make it.
Right.
It'll be out by
Right.
then. But
Very good.
okay. So a shout out to our friends Pam and Quint, who when they were recently in Italy
Yes.
and Rome, and they stopped at Babington's.
Globe trotting as they do.
They do.
Mhm.
So they were actually our travel consultants when we decided we were going to go to Italy.
Yep.
And
They gave us the skinny on what to see and do.
exactly. And especially that one in Venice.
Yes. Right.
So we said,
We'll get there.
we'll get there. Right.
Right.
So I thought I would start at the beginning, how
Right.
we got to this trip to Italy.
Yes.
So in 2016,
Uh-huh.
that was a very good year for Barbs Tea
It
Service.
was. You were busy. Well, you're always busy.
Always busy,
Yeah,
right?
Right.
But this was the season finale, the last season of Downton Abbey,
Right.
as it was aired in the U.S.
Right. On PBS.
On PBS,
Right.
right. So everybody wanted to have a Downton Abbey tea.
Yes.
So Rachel, our daughter,
Yeah.
and also BTS co-owner, we were busy with Downton Abbey teas
Right.
almost every other weekend from
Yep.
January to June
Yes.
of 2016.
Yep.
And some of those we traveled.
Yes.
We stayed overnight, different places.
Yep.
And it was great, but it was also a lot of time.
Right,
And I thought, Rachel gave up a lot of her weekends
Right.
and evenings. So I said, next trip you pick out where you want to go.
Yes.
And she said Italy.
Yes.
And that was,
Yeah. It was shocking.
it was shocking because I probably would have said England.
Equally shocking.
Again, Earl Grey in
Yeah,
England.
right.
Okay. But, and then Chris, you joined us.
Yes, I did.
So it
Yep.
was a really nice little
Yep.
family trip.
Right.
And Rachel and I worked out the itinerary,
Right.
and our home base was Rome.
Right.
And we had this really nice hotel.
Yes.
You probably recall.
Mm-hmm.
It was on Via Margutta.
Yes.
So it was just a little ways from the Spanish Steps.
Right. Around the corner, sort of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
around the corner, sort
Yeah.
of. And there was this, I'd say it was almost like a sanctuary, because once you rounded the corner,
Right.
it was
You were into the scrum, but once you kind of came around to our hotel, it was quiet and private and very relaxing. It was wonderful.
right. It was really beautiful. And so what did we see when we were there?
Yes.
We went to see, when we were in Rome, that was our home base.
Right.
So we went to Vatican City.
Yeah, we did all the Colosseum and the
At night?
the Pantheon and
Yes.
there's
Yeah.
Pantheon Parthenon.
Right,
yeah,
right.
whatever
It's
that is. Yeah.
Pantheon.
Yeah.
And we, Trevi Fountain, all
And
those
we
things.
ate and we ate and we ate.
We ate.
Yes.
And actually, that first night, we went to this restaurant
Yes.
that
The gentleman at the hotel said, we were talking about where to go, and he recommended. He asked if we had ever had carbonara, and I said no. What is that? And so he gave us the name of a place. He says, and this is true. He said it's like my mother used to make.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, and it was,
That was great.
delicious.
Yes.
And you've got to make more of that at
Yes.
home.
Yes.
So then we noticed that when we were on our street on Via Margutta,
Yeah, we're having lunch or something.
we're having lunch one day.
Yeah.
And people were
just walking up, and there was like an apartment building behind the gate, and they were like, taking pictures and talking, and we wondered if someone had been murdered there or something. What was the story? Anyway, we found out it was the filming site of a rather famous movie back in the 50s, which was
Roman Holiday.
amazing.
Right.
We were there.
Right. And it starred Audrey Hepburn,
Yep.
Gregory Peck,
Uh-huh.
and
Yep.
right on this Via
Yep.
Margutta.
Yep. It's great.
And when we were talking about Roman Holiday,
Yeah.
we went back, when we came home, we watched it.
Right.
And this was in the 1953, 1954.
Right.
And there was always this sort of,
Yeah. Like a lot of other movies at the time, there was perhaps a little bit of an age difference between the leading man and leading woman.
Right.
And that was interesting.
And
So-
I think it still continues.
Yeah.
It still continues. And no judging, but there's some that were
A little bit of judging.
a little bit of judging. So Gregory Peck, he's 37.
Right.
Audrey Hepburn's 24.
Right. It's maybe second wife territory. I don't know.
Oh, well, yeah. But you know what?
Yeah.
I mean, Gregory Peck,
Yeah.
very handsome.
Yeah.
Kind of, you get
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
appeal.
Right.
But we were recently watching on TCM, we watched Rear Window.
Yes. Yeah.
And we have
Another 50s movie.
same time frame, 53, 54.
Yeah.
Jimmy Stewart and
Grace Kelly.
Grace Kelly.
Yeah.
So she's 25.
Yeah.
He's 46.
Yeah. We're pushing the envelope on that one. Yeah.
Although if you look,
Yeah.
they made him look like he's like in his late 70s.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure what what they were going for there.
It was a thing.
It
It was Alfred Hitchcock.
Right.
And read into that what you will.
Exactly. But probably the most egregious
Yes.
in this age disparity.
Yeah.
Well, we're on this tangent.
Yeah. Okay, we're going there.
White Christmas.
Yes. Okay.
So White Christmas.
Yeah.
Rosemary Clooney
Yes.
is 25.
Yeah.
Bing Crosby, 51.
Wow. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's
And he doesn't really have that
no.
Gregory Peck
No.
look
No.
or appeal.
No.
And actually the general
Yes.
that's retired.
What do you do with the general? Yes.
That's my brother Ed's favorite song.
It is.
And he's this old
Yeah.
retired general. The actor who played him is actually 51, same age as
Yeah.
Bing Crosby.
Yeah, amazing.
And then Vera Ellen
Yeah.
plays Rosemary Clooney's
Right. Younger sister.
younger sister. She's 33.
Yeah.
And Danny Kaye is like
Yeah.
43. But it just shows that Rosemary Clooney, 25 years
Yeah.
old, but she's got to
Yeah.
date the 51-year-old guy, and she's got a 33-year-old younger sister.
It kind of takes you out of it, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
But okay, we digress. Let's
Yes.
get back to
Yeah.
Italy. On a Roman holiday.
they probably weren't drinking tea either. So sorry about that.
Okay, so when you think of Italy and Rome,
Right.
you don't really think of afternoon tea.
No, you don't. No.
But they have this wonderful tea room called Babington's.
Yes. Mhm.
And not maybe too surprisingly, it does have its roots in England.
Right.
Okay, so it was the creation. It was founded by two women
Uh-huh.
in 1893.
It was back in the day, right?
They were from England.
Right.
So we have Isabel Cargill and Anna Maria Babington.
Okay. The namesake.
Yes, right. So what had happened, it kind of starts out a little bit rough, but
Yep.
turns out okay.
Yep.
So Isabel is a jilted bride.
Oh, no.
She's left at the altar.
No.
But undeterred.
Yep.
Strong woman.
All right.
Great. She says, I want to get out of here. I want to seek adventure.
It's a revenge tour.
It could be, yes. And so she wants to go to Rome.
Yes.
But at the time, it was considered inappropriate for a young woman to travel alone.
Uh-huh.
So she's got a friend and a kindred spirit
Yep.
in Anna Maria Babington.
Yep.
She's a little bit older,
Right.
but she too wants adventure.
Right.
So they go to Rome
Mhm.
and they set up this tea room.
Yes.
And at the time, there were quite a few
Expats.
expats,
Yeah.
people
English.
from England who
Yeah.
were there. So they welcomed this tea room.
Right. A
And
little bit of home.
It was a little bit of home, and
Yeah.
it was a great success
Yeah.
owing to that.
Right.
And they had,
Yeah.
their tea room had a luxury for its time that attracted a lot of people.
Oh, what could it be?
Indoor plumbing.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
You know, that's amazing.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, we just take it for granted.
Yeah, right.
We want to have
Yeah.
many
Yeah.
bathrooms
Yeah.
where we go. And
Yeah. Yeah. That's a thing.
It is. Okay. So they were so successful, though, with
Yep.
all these attributes that they were able to relocate
Right. To their current location.
within a year
Yep.
to their current location just next to the Spanish Steps.
Exactly next to it. Yep.
Right,
Yep.
right. It's very prestigious,
Yep.
and they kept it there.
Yep.
So Isabella has kind of a nice story.
Yep.
She ends up marrying somebody,
Mhm.
an artist.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And we saw some of his works.
Yes.
Actually, the portraits he painted
Are hanging there.
are hanging there of his wife and of Ms. Babington.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they had a daughter, Dorothy.
Right.
So this tea room faced a lot of challenges.
There was a tumultuous time coming up.
It really is. If you think you're
Yeah.
when you're doing your business plan,
Right.
and you have to suddenly add into the mix a few
World Wars.
World Wars.
Yeah.
It's a little bit tough.
Yeah.
So World War I was again a big challenge.
Right. Yep.
And they were able to
Weather it. Yep.
weather it, but it was a little tough
Yep.
on Anna Maria. So she moves up to Switzerland
Yep.
for her health in the 1920s.
Yep.
Unfortunately, she passes away in 1929.
Yeah.
So it is Isabel's family that ends up running
Right.
Babington's. Well, then guess what? World War II comes about.
Not World War II.
I
All right.
know.
All right.
So they still
Yep.
keep in business.
Yes.
And they have some interesting patrons.
Yes.
So the high-ranking government officials,
Right.
at the time the fascists,
Right.
they would have their tea and scones at the front dining room.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Yeah.
where you would normally
Yeah.
go.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
the anti-fascists, they would have their tea
Yeah.
back in another room,
Yes.
hidden away.
It's kind of a rambling structure.
Right.
And you can kind of see how that would happen.
Exactly. So they had an escape door
Yes.
through the kitchen.
Yes.
So they were able to
Have their tea and make a quick getaway.
Yes,
All
yes.
right.
So they get a lot of business, and they did, through the help of Isabel's family and
Yep.
staff, they made it through
Right.
World War II.
Yep. Tough times.
And they became just because it's so beautiful and their
Right.
food is so
Right.
great.
Yep.
They attracted a lot of the high end.
Right.
The royals loved
Mhm.
going there.
Post-war.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Right. And a lot of celebrities.
Right.
Like Audrey Hepburn.
Yes.
And Tony Curtis.
Yes.
So those are just some of them.
Yeah.
Now, it's still owned by descendants of Isabel.
Right.
So her great-grandchildren,
Right.
Chiara and Rory,
Right.
they are cousins. They
Right.
own it. They
Right.
are the great-grandchildren of
Right.
Isabel.
Uh-huh.
And Chiara was our hostess when
Yes.
we went there.
Yes.
And
That was a great special time.
wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And she was so friendly, and
Yeah.
one thing I have to add, she's beautiful.
Right. Right. Yes. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And she had this the 3-tiered afternoon tea
Right.
set for you, me, and
Yeah.
Rachel,
Right.
and all the lovely servings,
Yes.
the silver
Yeah.
teapots. And she even had some extra things,
Right.
some of their specialties.
Right.
There was a croissant ham and cheese
Yeah.
sandwich.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
was like, there was
Yeah.
so much food. She goes,
Yeah. Yeah.
don't worry, you don't have to eat it all. I just want you to sample everything.
It's very Italian to just load you up with food. I
That's
think.
right. Mangiare,
Yeah.
right? So then Chiara took us back and showed us this
Right.
other room.
Right, right,
like
right.
you said, it's
Yeah.
rambling. There's
Yeah.
a lot of little rooms in
Right.
the back. And this is a special book where they have autographs
Yeah. It was amazing.
of all these celebrities
Yeah.
and royals and who had,
Yeah.
left a little word.
Yeah.
One of them was Tony Curtis.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And Chiara had memories of playing with Jamie Lee Curtis
As children.
as children.
Yeah.
So Tony Curtis was there filming a movie.
Yeah.
And I believe Chiara's father was part of the
Movie industry
in Italy,
Yeah.
yes.
Right.
Okay. So as if that isn't enough,
What? There's more?
there's more. We mentioned in an earlier podcast that we met up with our friends Rick and Carol
Right.
at Babington's.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So
Yeah. As
more
one does.
celebrities,
Yes.
right?
Right.
And it was just one of those special times
Right.
where all the stars aligned.
Right.
And they were there with another travel group, and our paths were going to intersect. So we said,
Yep.
hey, why don't we meet up for lunch and then go to Babington's for tea?
Again.
Right. And I often like pause and reflect on that. I mean, how many times, Chris, can we say to our friends, hey, why don't we just meet up in Rome for lunch?
We just do it once. That's it.
Right. Now we say, how about Grand Tavern happy hour?
Oh, yeah. That we can do a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
All right. So let's so that was our trip to Rome. A lot of great memories there. And we're gonna talk a little bit more about that when we revisit Florence and Venice.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right.
So I'm going to shift gears now and talk about our most recent, the most recent article.
Yeah.
No, the tea article in the most recent edition of Consumers Report.
Yeah,
okay.
we get it.
All right. And before I do that, though, I just wanted to mention that if anyone wants to know more about Babington's Tea Room,
all right.
So that can be seen in the October 2018 edition of Tea Time.
And there it is.
There it is.
In living color.
And then I wrote that article.
Yep.
And that was just a wonderful thing.
Very
so,
good.
all right. So now we're talking about magazines. We're going to talk about Consumer Reports.
Yes. That's my second favorite magazine.
What's your first?
Tea Time, of course.
Of course. Okay. And they, as I mentioned, so smoothly, as I mentioned a moment or two ago, this is in the most recent edition of Consumer Report.
Yes.
And the section's all on tea.
Right.
And they talk about the different types of tea, how to brew the perfect pot. So if you are new to tea, this is a great primer, a great basic introduction.
A lot of
tea.
good information.
A lot of good information. But even for those of us who have been tea, students of tea for a long time, there's still some interesting information in there. One thing I found pretty fascinating was their section on ready to drink, the RTDs, and other types of popular tea that maybe aren't as good for you as you might think.
Right.
Because we always think tea that's healthy.
Right.
Not necessarily so.
Yeah.
So some of the iced tea that you get.
Yeah. A lot of processing going on.
Yes. And a lot of sugar. And with the bubble tea and the chai tea, just kind of make sure you're knowing what.
Read the label.
Read the label. Check out when you're at the venue, but also detox.
Yes, detox tea.
And that gets a lot of buzz for being kind of healthy. And,
A little advertisement,
but
maybe.
Yes, the Consumer Report says that it's not only maybe not healthy, but it could be actually detrimental.
Right.
So take a look at that. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
But in addition to all this information, they also refer to one of our BTS tea friends.
Yes.
Dr. Michelle Frankel.
You got there first.
I did. Yeah. Yes, Consumer Reports. Check our blog from February of 2024, this year.
Yeah.
I got to interview Dr. Michelle Frankel.
Right.
She is a chemistry professor at Bryn Mawr.
Right.
She wrote the book Steep, The Chemistry of Tea.
Right.
And I'll put that on the camera too.
All right, here we go.
And she raised a bit of a brouhaha.
Okay.
Earlier this year when it was noted that in her book she said that you could use salt in tea to...
Controversial, and government agencies got involved in that.
They did.
Stuff. Yeah,
and it was an old coffee trick, to get make the tea less bitter.
Right.
But it was kind of when we interviewed her, she said it was a surprise, but of course it was a good good publicity for her as well.
Yeah.
So okay, that's her book.
Right.
And there's so she talks about a lot of the scientific properties of tea.
Right.
But she also addresses some of the health benefits. And this is the straight up regular tea.
Right.
Not the herbals.
Right.
She's addressing tea.
Right.
And when talking about caffeine, she says this: it may help keep your brain and nervous system healthy.
Say no more.
I think I need a lot more
There you go. Yeah.
today.
Right.
Okay. So
Very good. Yep.
there, that's to help my brain power.
All right.
Okay.
You're on all 8 cylinders now? Very good.
Yes. Okay. So how we doing on time?
We have about 5 minutes.
Oh, good. Okay. So then we do have time to talk about a lovely tea
Yes.
that we had last Sunday.
Right.
So it was just a week ago.
Yep.
It's a group of
A dozen ladies or so?
a dozen ladies, a family and friends.
All right.
And we were out at the tea room in New Baltimore.
Uh-huh.
We had a great time. We had so much fun. We're planning to do this more on a quarterly basis.
Right.
Get a group together, pick
Yep.
a tea room.
Yep.
And
You got your posse together.
get your posse together. We were somewhat limited,
Right.
which was nice.
Yeah.
They said a dozen is
Right.
their sweet spot. We
Yep.
got our own private room.
Yep.
And we really enjoyed that.
Right.
But I want to let everyone know that is something that is also on horizon.
Yes.
And
Okay.
we'll be back doing that. But it was really fun. I want to thank everyone that came out.
Right.
Again, for those who are interested,
Mhm.
we're going to be doing more.
Right.
And maybe we can open it up to a little bit more
Very good.
as far as numbers go.
All right.
Okay. And then I
Yep.
want to wrap up
Yes.
with we have some exciting news about our podcast.
We do. We're going to try and take it out on the road. We took a little training this week.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're going to entrust us with some equipment to take elsewhere, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We're very excited about it, and it's a lot more buttons and computers and microphones and stuff to set up, and so we'll see how that goes.
Right. So we're always trying to be on the leading edge of
Yeah, we have to go. We have to go.
innovation.
We have to go where the tea is.
We have to go where the tea is.
That's
Right.
All right.
So we experimented today a little bit with
Yeah.
a third camera,
Yep.
and we're going to
Yep.
launch the remote podcast soon.
Right.
Also, I want to make a note. We did have some viewer feedback,
Yep.
and also
Yep.
someone sent us some chocolate tea to try.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And I want to devote a little bit more time to that in
Yeah.
a future podcast because we have some exciting news as far as BTS programs. We're going to be doing a chocolate and tea pairing
Yes. Oh,
very
yeah.
early in
Yeah.
2025.
Yes.
So stay tuned.
It's
for
one
that.
of your favorites.
It is one of my favorites. Right. Okay. So for that we have. I think we are.
Yeah.
I think I may
Oh,
hear that
okay.
news.
Here we go. All right. Right.
That news, the noise.
Yeah.
I think I need a little bit more.
That's okay.
For my brain power.
There's a lot going on.
All right.
All
So
right.
I want to thank everyone for tuning in, watching.
Yep.
I want to thank On TV Studios for hosting us.
Yes.
And I want to thank Chris, studio engineer, fellow traveler,
Yes.
Arm Candy,
Uh-huh.
and co-host. And for all those, we encourage you to send in your
Yep.
feedback.
We love it.
We absolutely do.
All right.
And as always, we like to say, please stay tuned.
All right.